Hey everyone, I'm NATO King and welcome back to Control. Last time we made it to Dylan's cell, only to discover that he'd given us the slip and made it back to Executive before us. And he seems to have been taken over by the Hiss, but he's still mostly in control of himself. So we're gonna get the chance to talk to him in a bit. But first, there are some new faces here that I want to meet. And also a new thing,
Oh my god.
which I'm gonna ignore.
Her made up gibberish code. Fucking Marshall with her CIA spy shit. God.
I just want to talk to Arish first, then I'll pick that stuff up.
I don't think I ever told you this, but I was actually on the path to being a ranger once. Did the whole boot camp thing. Even got rookie status. Anyway, not the point. My old ranger squad was a great bunch. There was 6 plus me. Remus, Hazard, Cho, Guy, Hepton, Stoll, and Thompson. They were supposed to get back from an expedition yesterday. We had beers and wings planned. Problem is, they weren't here when Darling handed out the HRAs.
Then they had nothing protecting them from the Hiss.
You see, they prepped for the worst, but I think that we're already past that. We all wore these pouches around our neck, and I really don't want the Hiss to get them. Could you find them for me? The squad would have come back through maintenance, but they probably spread out from there.
I'll keep an eye out for them, Arish. And I won't let them stay Hiss.
And those names might be familiar if you remember the Poker Night document that we found. We'll get around to them, but he's got a lot more to say.
What's the deal with BlackRock?
Oh, fuck. Don't get me started on BlackRock. You know, ever since research found out that it blocks paranatural stuff, they have just been parading dangerous materials in and out of the fucking quarry. Fucking lab coats, man. Love making my job harder.
Sounds like there's some tension between departments.
Still, at least the quarry's got a good view of the night sky. You know, me and Salvador used to have after-work beers down there.
What do you know about Dr. Darling?
About as much as anybody, I guess. Head of research, loves to hear himself talk. All of those science types absolutely do. He's been acting a little bit psycho recently. Although HR told me not to use that word, so...
Everyone thinks finding Darling will lead us to the answers. But if he's completely lost it, then what help could he be? You're security, right? Do you work with Rangers?
Not often. Rangers are specially trained in threshold reconnaissance and ground zero AWE response. Security is more interested in the dangers inside the Bureau.
They must see some weird stuff out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, every week they are tackling things that were previously unknown to the human experience. Most Rangers, they retire due to cognitive collapse. I looked up the medical definition. Not fun.
How does the Bureau handle thresholds?
Handle might be a bit of an optimistic way to put it. Marshall sends her Rangers in to map them, check growth rates, locate epicenters, take samples, measure stuff, basically.
Sounds like he's done his homework.
You know, down in maintenance, thresholds are used just like any other tool. The lab coats mine black rock from one, maintenance siphons water from another. We use it for pretty much everything, except drinking.
Why don't you drink it? Do I even want to know?
Yeah, a lot of time we find these little chunks in it. It's pretty gross.
I didn't want to know. What do you think of Marshall?
Marshall? Marshall's a fucking badass. Rangers could not ask for a better leader. She's a little, intense, but given the stuff she's seen, I'm not surprised. She does have a bad habit of disappearing, though.
Where does she go?
Last time she vanished, I did some digging into the security logs. I found camera footage of her entering the quarry. She was down there alone for days. Now, typically that's not allowed, but Marshall is kind of above the rules.
I wonder what she finds so interesting in the quarry. I have to go.
Me too. You're not the only one who's busy, you know.
Alright, so having heard the conversation about his former squad mates, now I can pick up the jukebox tokens that are here.
You need something?
I found this token. Any idea what it does?
That is a jukebox token. Little bastards turn up in the weirdest places, like bad pennies. The Rangers use them to activate an old object of power.
A jukebox, I assume. Does it have any good songs?
Nope, just the one record. Hey, be careful turning it on, though. When it's playing, you get a free trip to the formation.
The formation? That sounds ominous. Why does it send you there?
The Bureau has been wondering that for years. I mean, it's just a pile of rocks built by God knows who, but... Well, researchers have confirmed it's in the same threshold as the quarry. Well, no one's ever been able to map a physical route to the formation for maintenance.
So it's in the quarry. You just don't know where.
Pretty much. We only send in annual expeditions to the formation now. Checkups, Salvador calls them. This year's team went in the day the hiss arrived. Come to think of it, the song should have brought them back hours ago.
I can go in and take a look.
I'd appreciate that. The jukebox is kept just past the security booth over there. Just put in the token and enjoy the ride.
I have to go.
Me too. You're not the only one who's busy, you know.
Yep, so the jukebox mission was DLC originally. It's free, so anyone can do it, but you can't go in until you picked up these tokens. We've also got a bunch of new material around Central Executive, like this document. And so it seems that the Bureau wasn't originally involved with Night Springs, but they were explicitly looking to reboot it for their own ends.
Hey there, Faden.
There's one other thing I want to check.
Did you hear that his prisoner they captured is the director's brother?
Brother? And she brought him here? She's gonna get us all killed.
What if she's working with the Hiss? Isn't it strange she showed up just when they did?
Yeah. Hi, new director. Here. That you're talking about. Anyway, someone in the thread mentioned that Wells, the guy that we met down in the clocks, could be found here in the safe room, and indeed, here he is, working on some of the injured people. I guess I just never thought to come back into this safe room once I started rescuing people. Doesn't seem to be a lot of point, although some of them do seem a little worse off than others.
They're endangering us by bringing a history.
Yeah, let's see what other people around have to say.
Please. Trench was part of the same shadowy group that are responsible for every disaster this country's ever seen.
Zachariah Trench was a national hero. Keep your conspiracy nonsense to yourself.
Yeah, he probably just said that because I was standing there.
The resonance emitted from the HRAs is purely antithetical to every variant of the Hiss signal I can arrange. But how did Darling create it?
Well, we've got some more documents. Maybe some of them will shed some light on the subject. I find the title of this one to be a little deceptive. It says timeline of events, but really it's just why we need a timeline of events that we don't have. Brilliant. And having actually transcribed the full Hiss chant, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's not true that the most common word used is want. Like she says, every time there's a want, there's a you. There are more yous than wants. I think it's something like 7 wants and 11 yous. And there are a bunch of other words that appear a lot. The is all over it. Maybe all that was true in the original Finnish. I don't know.
It's happening. After all these years, Dylan is here. But am I too late? How is he? I need to know.
He's clearly been affected by the Hiss, but it's different than any other manifestation we've recorded. Maybe what makes you so special is genetic. He was a prime candidate. Or maybe it's Polaris protecting him, something else affecting the situation. I need to run tests. He seems more in control, more present.
I want to see him. My brother. Or is he?
Of course. Now, Marshall set up an HRA-warded cage to contain him. It's on the upper floor, up the stairs.
Okay, I need to go.
Jesse, be careful.
Kind of weird that the lights appear to have gone out for that conversation.
Hi, Jesse.
And she doesn't actually have anything more to say, but I didn't notice the text was gray and went ahead and picked it anyway. You don't need to watch the same conversation again.
Enjoy your data.
Oh, I will.
So, it's upstairs to see Dylan. But there are probably more conversations going on around the room that we can listen in on before we go.
I bet when this is all over, we find out Darling was behind it. That man was bound to snap.
Yeah, we've heard that before from a couple of people.
Interesting data off that subject the Rangers brought in.
I heard that he voluntarily entered captivity. That's what Pope said anyway.
She doesn't know what she's talking about. Hiss aren't that self-aware.
Looks like they're actually doing the calculus equations. Sorry, but those have been solved a long time ago on a lot of whiteboards.
Lots of errors on this form.
Yep. I could go mess with the jukebox, but obviously I'm going to skip it for now. Talking to Dylan is the top priority. Looks like Ati's been busy. Wonder what he was cleaning.
Marshall abandons us. I'm sick of no one telling us what's going on.
Information's always been on a need-to-know basis.
Well, I need to fucking know. I'm an upper-level executive, damn it.
Yeah, that kind of people always throw their weight around. Never does any good. Where the guards are, that's Dylan's room. And this is one of my favorite scenes in the entire game.
Yellow and red, you are a worm through time. The thunder's home distorts you. Happiness comes, white pearls, but yellow and red in the eye. Through a mirror inverted is made right. Leave your insides by the door. Push the fingers through the surface into the web. You've always been a near you. You want this to be true. We stand around you while you dream. You can almost hear our words, but you forget. Through time, the thunder's home distorts you. Happiness comes, white pearls.
Yep, that is the Hiss chant, but we can still talk to him through it, somehow.
Leave your insides by the door. Push the fingers through the surface into the... You are a worm through time.
Shit.
The thunder's home distorts you.
That's Dylan.
White pearls,
Can
but
you hear
yellow
me?
and red in the eye.
Oh, come on, Dylan. I'm here. I found you.
Into the way. You've always been in there. You want this to be true.
Do you know who I am? Oh, you know me. Say it.
You are Dylan Faden's sister.
He's talking in the third person. Always a good sign. Do you know who you are?
Not Dylan. Trench and Darling made sure of that. I'm P6. P6. But I'm better now. The hiss made me better. Push the fingers through the surface into the wet. You've always been the new you. You want this
Can you
to be
stop
true.
that? Please? Not exactly the reunion I'd hoped for.
It feels good to say those words. I want to say them. They sound good. They make me feel good. Don't you want to say them too?
No. Fuck off, no. You need to help me get this thing out of his head. If he is still in there, if there is anything left, you have to help me.
You! You came in through the hole in you! We let you in, you've always been here! The only truth! A copy of a copy of a copy of a copy!
Stop it!
Orange
Shit! Shit! He can see you. This is not safe.
We found Polaris together with my sister.
when we were very small, in ordinary, in the desert, through the door opened up by the slide projector. But she didn't help when Trench took me away. She didn't give me any powers. All the powers are my own powers. She didn't help when they locked me up for years. After the song time for applause, we build you till nothing remains. The egg cracks and the truth will emerge out of you. You are home. The Bureau brought the slide projector back here with me. And the Bureau did what the Bureau does. They used it. And they found... They opened the door up to the hiss. That's the only thing I can thank them for.
There. There it is. We stopped the Altered World event in Ordinary when we shut down the slide projector. And now the projector's here.
An earworm is a tune you can't stop humming in a dream. Baby, 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 yeah. Just plastic. So safe. Nothing to worry about. Funny.
I welcomed the hiss. I let it in. To get rid of her. The hiss set me free. Polaris is using you. The Bureau is using you. You are a puppet.
You can almost hear our words, but you forget.
If we shut off the slide projector, maybe that will stop the hiss.
In your regulations.
Maybe it's not too late for my brother.
You must see the truth for yourself, Jessie. Sister. The horrible truth about the Bureau. The hiss is the better option. Go to the Prime Candidate program in the containment sector. I have the keycard to get you there. Salvador wanted me to have it.
Wanted? Bullshit. I saw what the hiss did to Salvador. What it turned him into.
Okay, Dylan. I'll go. I want to see the truth for myself.
I'll go. But only to look for the slide projector. You can help me. We can end this.
You are a worm through time. You are a...
And there we go. We have the highest level of clearance we're ever going to get, which gets us to pretty much every part of the building that isn't locked off by the plot. And we can even still talk to Dylan more. He's got a lot to say, enough that I'm probably going to make a separate video just talking about all the different stuff that he's got to say here.
I don't know what else I'm hoping to find here.
Dylan. Can we talk?
I'd like to tell you about a dream I had last night.
Off to a good start.
Okay. I'm listening.
I was back in Ordinary, before all of this happened. But in the dream, I was alone. It was just me. I was the only child. A girl. My name was Jesse Dylan Faden. But then the Bureau came and caught me, brought me back here, locked me up. Have you ever noticed that our names, Jesse, Dylan, they could be girls' names, boys' names, could be anything. Don't you find that weird? I find that weird.
Sure.
What the hell was that? Is he trying to mess with me?
You are a worm through time. The thunders will distort.
This is the kind of thing that I don't normally notice and usually wouldn't comment on, but I love what they do with the camera in this entire scene. Everything that they do with it. As for the content of the dream, I'm not sure I would put Dylan top of my list of gender-ambiguous names.
This happens more and more natural.
I'm pretty sure he's hinting at something, but I don't know what it is.
Maybe Dylan's still in there. Maybe there's a way to reach him.
I'd like to talk to my brother, please. Dylan?
Dylan would like to tell you about a dream he had just now.
This again?
I was going to be the new director of this place. I helped you get a job here so that we could be together. You were an office assistant. You'd make coffee and deliver the mail, and there was always plenty of work to do. And it stayed that way, forever and ever. It was nice. Really nice.
That's debatable.
But here's the strange thing. The dream shifted, and none of it was real anymore. It was a game. We were in a game, and it was a fucking boring game. But you couldn't stop playing. And then it shifted again. Or maybe it was another dream already. Or maybe I'm just confusing them. But in this other dream, it was more like a musical. This is an ordinary song about an ordinary girl from an ordinary town. It's the ordinary story. She worked an ordinary job in an ordinary office. And something. And that's all I can remember of that dream.
Maybe that's for the best.
Kind of reminds me of the musical episodes of stuff like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the Drew Carey Show.
Maybe I can learn more about the hiss from him.
Can we talk?
I just had an interesting dream.
Shit.
That's fascinating, but let's talk about the hiss for a change, yeah?
This dream was about the hiss.
Best I'm gonna get.
In my dream, the hiss had broken free of this prison, this house. I'd set it free. And the president himself was there to welcome us. He was the first one to take the hiss in. Spread the word. At first, many people thought it was horrifying. That he was horrifying. But also, many people who heard his words wanted to welcome the hiss in. And slowly, more and more of them came around until the whole world was brought together by the hiss. It was wonderful.
Okay, thanks for sharing that.
For the record, that will never happen. Not as long as I'm alive.
Yeah, the president spreading something that infects everybody little by little and everybody hates it? Can't imagine.
Maybe I'm just here to punish myself.
Any new dreams you'd like to share, Dylan?
I'm glad you asked, sister. This dream, like all dreams now, felt very real. Like reality. And reality now feels like a dream. Maybe it's all a dream. Maybe it's all real.
Dream where my brother endlessly tells me about his dreams.
I was in a dark place. And there was a dark man there. His name was Mr. Door. And he told me that there are many worlds, side by side, on top of each other, some inside of others. In one world, there was a writer who wrote a story about a cop. In another world, the cop was real. Dor said he himself was in all of them at the same time, endlessly shifting between them. I asked him how I could reach these worlds. I wanted to bring the hiss there. But he didn't want to help me. He didn't like the idea. What did he know?
Not wild about the idea myself.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the worlds he was describing were the earlier Remedy games Alan Wake and Max Payne. I've never actually played Max Payne, so I don't know.
Here we go again. Once more with feeling.
Let me guess. You want to tell me about your dream?
Yes. Yes. In fact, I'm having a dream right now.
Oh. That's new.
In this dream, I'm standing in the corner watching Jesse and Dylan talk about this very dream. This very dream! He said just now! And repeated it again now! I'm standing there and watching, and that's all I can do. It's as if I'm trapped there. And that's all I have to say about that dream.
Okay, Dylan. That's good.
Is he still in there? Or is this the hiss playing mind games? I don't know.
And that's all we're going to get out of him. But I really love the way that he's describing many worlds from many perspectives, including our perspective as a player or an audience. Weird if you think about it, but again, I'm hoping to make a separate video to delve into that more deeply.
HRA production. They're already getting other survivors out of safe rooms.
Great. Maybe I can get back to my office soon. I miss having a door to close on people.
I think you're gonna have to endure the inconvenience a little longer.
Yeah, we certainly don't want to open everything up too soon.
Marshall didn't give me any orders before she left. Guess I'll just keep managing inventory.
Yeah, there's so many ways in which you'd never believe that this game was made before 2020. But I got a little time left, so there's a quick tutorial mission to introduce us to the jukebox. We'll go ahead and do that now. Only this doesn't look like the tutorial mission. It's supposed to just take me right to the formation. Maybe the mission thing got messed up. Let me see here. Now, I've got the jukebox mission selected. Not that I should have to, but maybe if I unselect it, then reselect it again. Yeah. So, from everything I've been able to find online, this jukebox tutorial mission is actually broken. Somehow they broke it when they made the AWE DLC. It used to work just fine, so I'll give you a brief description of what happens, and hopefully, one of these days they patch it and actually fix the thing. But it's supposed to take you off to this little canyon to the side of the formation. Jesse goes through the usual, remarking on, wow, this is an amazing place, and so on. A little bit of an introduction to the fact that you're in basically the same space as the quarry, but somewhere spatially removed from the quarry. You get to the center, there's this big pillar with a pile of stones, and 4 archways leading off from it. Only one of them is active in the tutorial. You go through it, there's these floating platforms you gotta navigate with levitation. And you get to the far end and you find the bodies of the ranger squad that Arish was talking about. They've got audio logs on them, and you have to retrieve them, but it takes you about 10 seconds of holding the action button over each one to get it. Meanwhile, the hiss are attacking, so you gotta balance fighting off the hiss, grabbing the audio log, finding the next body. It's one of 4 missions that you have to do when you do an actual jukebox expedition, which once you're done with the tutorial, that's when these things are supposed to unlock. They've got 3 different difficulty levels. At the end of the game, I'm barely able to complete the first one. I've never made it through level 3, and at this point in the game, I haven't really built up my abilities or guns to be nearly able to do it in time. And, of course, every time you die during one of the expeditions, you do lose a tenth of your source, same as if you died anywhere else. So, I attempted it, got about half an hour's worth of footage, lost everything that I have, had nothing to show for it at the end. Maybe I'll try to make something entertaining out of it at some point, but for now, let's just say it wasn't worth seeing. It's probably not going to be worth seeing. If they do patch it, yeah, I'll revisit this, but otherwise, I'm not going to tackle the jukebox until way at the end. So, next time, join me as we begin the part of the game that I can only call Side Quest Hell. With levitation and clearance level 6 available to us, we can go almost everywhere and do almost everything, and we will. See you then.